It's smoke. Hit makers. Views and likes, we run it up. Subscribe to the boards and burn it up. It's your favorite podcast, turn it up. The Run going live, we done it up. If you like sports, we got it. You see the game winner, who shot it? Score a touchdown in the last second. We gon' talk about it in the next second. We gon' talk about all the sports you like. We live at 7 on a Thursday night. Come home from work and grab a bite. Then listen to the fellas talk about the fight. We got Sean Griffin, Mason Kills. Can't forget about the boy Lance Rochelle. We talking NBA and Major League. You know we gotta talk about the NFL. AJ Nash, did you see that pass? We ducking so hard that we breaking the glass. To run the best podcast y'all done heard. Let's tell everybody, help us spread the word. So kick back and relax your nerve. We give you everything sports fans deserve. Guys tell you girls, girls tell you dude. We on Instagram and we on YouTube. Views and likes, we run it up. Subscribe to the boards and burn it up. It's your favorite podcast, turn it up. The Run going live, we done it up. If you like sports, we got it. You see the game winner, who shot it? Score a touchdown in the last second. We gon' talk about it in the next segment.
Yeah. We back at it. Back at it one more time again. This is Tallahassee's most dangerous podcast, The Run. I'm your host, Mason Kilby. There go my co-host right there, riding shotgun, as usual, Lance Rochelle. We got Justin Ralston on the ones and twos with the tech. We got my brother, Sean Griffin. He's about to join us in just a few moments. This is The Run. Hey, man, let's talk about it. Let's get right to it. Lance Rochelle, what's going on with you, brother?
What's up, man? What's up, man? Ready to give these sports fans what they deserve, man. Ready to give them
what they deserve, dog.
Yes, sir.
Well, shoot. I mean, there's no point in keep talking about it, not be about it. Let's address the obvious elephant in the room: March Madness. Last week, I mean, it was overtime after overtime after overtime after overtime after overtime. I'm talking about just games where I don't know who's gonna win it. It's been highly entertaining. I know in these past few years, it's been talked about men's college basketball has kind of fallen off. Women's basketball is slowly and surely done took the lead in the forefront as far as the more entertaining sport to watch. But men's college basketball, they was back, especially at least this past week. Let's get right down to it, man. North Carolina State beating Oakland in overtime. Did you catch the game? Did you catch it?
Hey, hold on. Didn't I tell you? I told you North Carolina State was gonna go far in this tournament.
Listen, you called it last week. You said North Carolina got a big man.
North Carolina State got that big boy, man.
DJ Burns,
man.
Listen, that man was eating.
He was eating.
24 points, man. 6 or 7 on the free throw line. 9 of 12. 9 of 12 on the floor, man. He literally collapses a defense down there in that paint.
It's gonna be hard for somebody to deal with him, man. I'm telling you.
It's gonna be hard.
That's why I knew, man, when I seen him play against North Carolina in the ACC championship. I knew. I said, boy, this boy gonna be a problem in that tournament, boy. That's why I picked them. I called it gonna be my sleeper team, man, to get far in this tournament.
Yeah, DJ Burns. I mean, he's just a old school back to the basket. I'm gonna back you down. I'm gonna draw this double team. I'm gonna collapse this defense. They're gonna try to double me, and he got the vision to find the open guy. Back cuts.
He tough.
Cuts
man.
coming off screen. He's finding them.
He tough. And he got that spin move. He eating them up with that spin move.
Boy. That spin move something deadly. It's Shaq-like, ain't it?
Yeah, boy, he eating them up with that spin move, boy. Boy, I knew it though. I called it last week. I said, man,
You
I got
did.
North Carolina State, man, going deep in this tournament. Cause the DJ, cause that big. I said that big boy they got.
You
He,
did. You called it.
man, I knew it. I knew
I'm
it.
excited to see them tomorrow. North Carolina State, they will face Marquette tomorrow.
Yeah, they got
And
Marquette.
just with the presence of DJ Burns, I like NC State in that against Marquette, man.
Oh yeah. I got him winning that one too.
If
I got him winning that too.
As long as North Carolina State are hitting their shots that DJ Burns allows them to get because of the double team and sometimes triple team that he commands, yeah, I like NC State over Marquette tomorrow. So I like NC State to march right on into that Elite Eight. I'm not even gonna lie, because of DJ Burns. Another great game. Another one. Houston and Texas A&M.
Man, that was a good one, man. Boy, that boy hit that shot. That boy hit that shot with that last second, sending overtime. I thought Texas A&M were gonna get him, but my pick prevailed, and Houston won.
I still got that's my pick as well. As a matter of fact, man, I had turned from the game. I gotta admit, I had turned from the game because Texas A&M, they was down. They was down by a good bit. I think they was down like 7 with less than like 6 minutes to go in the game, and I turned it off. And then next, I saw that buzzer beater to put in the overtime. I like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
So I got back it, but Houston, they such a last year they was in the Final Four, and they're such a beat. They got put out by my Miami squad, but we ain't gonna get into that. Houston, they're such a well-coached and seasoned team. They've been here before. They're a physical team, and that's why I like Houston. That's one of my Final Four teams is Houston because they've been here before. They have that experience, and they have that toughness and grit that Kelvin Sampson, the head coach, has put into Houston. That's why I like them as that's going to be my Final Four team.
Yeah. Sampson, he was pretty good at. I think he's at Oklahoma before.
He was at Oklahoma. Yeah, he was at Oklahoma.
He did his thing there too, but right now we got Clemson and Arizona playing right now as we speak.
Is Clemson and Arizona playing right now?
Yeah, Clemson are up 16-6 right now.
Okay. I'm gonna have to switch over there to the channel over here whenever I get a chance.
I got Arizona.
Keep that out.
I got Arizona winning.
I got Arizona winning that one too. As a matter of fact, that's a great segue to go into the Sweet 16 talk.
Yeah, they need to tighten up, man. They need to tighten up.
But Sweet 16 games going into Thursday. We have Clemson and Arizona. Me and you both agree that we got Arizona.
Yeah.
Then we have San Diego State and UConn. Last year, that's a repeat of last year's Final Four game.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with I picked Auburn. I had Auburn to be in this game against FAU on my bracket. I had Auburn to be in this game against FAU. Neither one of them made it. So with this game, I'm probably gonna go UConn with this beating San Diego State in this one.
No, that wasn't a repeat of last year's Final Four. I think that was the was it Elite Eight? Because I know UConn beat Miami in the Final Four.
Yeah, UConn beat Miami, and
then UConn beat FAU, wasn't it? Was it FAU?
FAU.
Yeah.
FAU played.
No, FAU played San Diego State, so it's not a rematch. They played San Diego State.
FAU played San Diego State. Yep.
Yeah, that is right. So it's a rematch. What it is a matchup of Final Four teams from last year. But UConn too big, too physical, too good. I like UConn over San Diego State all day, every day.
Okay, we got another one tonight. At 10 o'clock, you got the Iowa State, Illinois.
Yeah. I like Iowa State. I've liked Iowa State all year.
Yeah, so. I got those were my two teams that I picked to make it there. So I got Iowa State beating Illinois in this one.
And then we got the nightcap. Well, the game before the nightcap, Alabama, North Carolina. Now this is where me and you at odds right now.
I got North Carolina.
I got Alabama. I think on North Carolina and their small guards is going to catch up with them. And Alabama is just going to body them up.
They got that boy Baycott in the middle though.
They got that boy Baycott in the middle now. Mondo Baycott. They got him that boy in the middle.
My brother told me about Baycott too. He coached against Baycott too. Man, my brother coached against some dogs, man.
He coached against some dogs.
Yeah, he coached against Anthony Edwards, Armando Baycott, Scotty Barnes, that boy that James Madison had, what was that boy name? Vernon Carey. He coached.
Oh yeah, he went to Duke. That's Vernon Carey's son, boy. Late great Miami offensive lineman back in the 2000s.
Yeah. He coached against him. Man, he coached against some dogs, man. He coached against some dogs. And if they would have won, I think one more game or something like that, they in that tournament they had got in, he would have coached against Jalen Green. That's playing for the Rockets right now, because they was in the same league as Jalen Green. That I think it was called the SIAA. So
okay. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, we're gonna get in a little bit of Jalen Green a little bit later on. But yeah, your brother, man, he's coached against some guys, man. Tell everybody where your brother coaches at. Let the world know where he coached at.
The Rock in Gainesville. That's the school that Joel Embiid went to. So he coached at the Rock. And they got a top kid. He's I think he's in the number I think he ranked 24 for this class. I'm not sure. I might have to fact check myself. His name RJ Jones, and he's going to Virginia Tech. He's committed to Virginia Tech. So, and he just told me one of his boys transferred from Virginia Tech, and he got in the transfer portal 2 days ago and just committed to Miami University.
Oh, you talking about that boy? He's a center, Lynn. Yeah. 6'10". Yeah. That's what we needed at Miami. That was one of our problems at Miami. We didn't have any size.
Yeah, he coached my brother coached him in high school. He graduated from the
Rock. He went to the Rock.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. No kidding. Well, I tell you, brother, we appreciate it because we've been hurting for some size down in the post. That's been one of our biggest problems these last 2 years. No size in the post. So let's get into the Sweet 16 games again tomorrow. So on Friday, we got our North Carolina State and Marquette. I like North Carolina State. I think you agree too, Lance.
Oh yeah.
Gonzaga and Purdue. I mean, Purdue is who I picked to play in the national championship game to UConn against UConn. But so that obviously I picked Purdue. Who you got there?
I picked Purdue. I picked Purdue to play against Gonzaga, and I picked Purdue to win.
You picked Purdue to win. Okay, so we agreement with that. Here's the one I'm excited about right here: Duke and Houston.
Okay, Duke and Houston. I didn't pick Duke to be there. I picked Wisconsin to be there, but Wisconsin got knocked out. But I picked Houston to be there. I picked Houston to beat Wisconsin, so I still got to rock with Houston.
So you like Houston in that?
Houston, we have a problem.
I like Houston as well. I pick Houston over Duke. And then the nightcap, Tennessee and Creighton.
I picked both of those teams to be there. I picked Tennessee and Creighton to be there. I picked Tennessee to beat Creighton.
I got Tennessee as well to beat Creighton. I like Tennessee in that. So it's going to be an exciting 2 days of Sweet 16 games.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting, man. We're going to be perched on that TV to see what happens, man. And
man.
This is the time of year that everybody loves. As bad sometimes as college basketball struggles throughout the season. This is what it's all about. This March Madness.
This March Madness, man. You hear me? March Madness is the best tournament in the world.
I agree.
No tournament better than March Madness tournament.
What I don't agree is that they're trying to extend it to 120 teams, 128 teams.
They don't need
because people out there are just never satisfied. They always try to make everything fair, and they got to realize stuff's not fair. Make the top 64. It is
fair. You win your games in the regular season. That's fair.
Yeah.
Everybody got the same amount of regular season game, or win your regular season game. If you don't do that, win your conference tournament, you're gonna get in. So they don't need to mess with it. It's perfect, just like it is. Best tournament.
And I agree with you, but it's just what it is that now you do have some teams that might have got overlooked that probably should have made the tournament. But okay, that's life. Sorry. You know, next time don't play it so close to the chest. Win more games. But just the fact is, you got a couple people that's just unsatisfied with it. Now you want to change the whole dynamic and try to appease everybody.
And they mess with this tournament, man. They gonna, man, Dickie, I don't know what Dickie V gonna do, man. they mess with this tournament, man. Man,
this tournament is fine, just the way it is.
Just the way it is. It's the best tournament in the world, man. Best tournament in the world.
All right, so let's pivot on to the NBA. And we're about to talk about a gentleman that and I like this gentleman, but he need to get his life together. Because I don't want something to happen on the court where he may just get arrested for choking somebody out, swinging on somebody, swinging on the ref, DDTing the mascot, DDTing. It's just, I just want him to get his act together because I like him. He's an old school basketball player that reminds me of back in the 90s how basketball used to be played.
Man, he reminds me so much of Dennis Rodman, man. He reminds me so much of Dennis Rodman, man.
And if y'all don't know who we're talking about Draymond Green.
Man,
gets ejected in 4 minutes.
4 minutes, man.
And if you could just see Steph Curry's face when it happened, and I wish I can show you the video of it, but we had technical difficulty bringing up the video. But the rejection and look on Steph Curry's face when Draymond got tossed out, just pictures says 1,000 words. And Steph was like, God damn it, Draymond.
Man, listen, bro. Draymond. See, but let me tell you this.
But look, Lance, look. The facial reaction of the official, you already know there's about to be some junk right here. He already had it in mind. Okay, Dre. All right, Draymond. Nah, don't stop right there. Stop right there. Cut it out.
The officials don't have no kind of leeway with Draymond no more. They tired of
no leeway.
They tired of him, man. They listen. They
sick of him.
I'm gonna treat you. You show me you an idiot and you a fool, and you want to get out of line. This how I'm gonna treat you. I ain't gonna have no. You got the shortest leash in the league. So man, listen. What a man show you, that's who he is. And
you can look at Steph and he's trying to talk to the official like, come on, Mr. Fisher, you know how Draymond is. Don't throw him out. You know,
man, listen,
don't do that. Come on, bro.
They are tired of Draymond, man. They tired of Draymond. They tired of him. Man, they tired of this man.
I hope Draymond don't black out and put the official on a headlock or something like that.
And I think Steve Kerr finna get tired of him too, man. You can't trust him.
You can't trust him, but I feel like every team need one because he's that enforcer. If you mess with Steph, Draymond got to talk to you. He got to holler at you.
You got to know how far to go though. You can't go all the way every game.
And Justin, do me some. Would you mind? I need some research. How many technical fouls do Draymond Green have right now? Because I believe once you get to 15 or 16 technical fouls, that warrants a 1 game suspension.
That's a 1 game suspension.
So I wonder where he's at on technical fouls right now. I mean, Draymond, brother, we praying for you. We love your game. We just want to see you do better, baby. We just want to see you do better. We need you. The game needs you.
Yeah, Draymond, man. But like I said, he reminds me so much of Dennis Rodman, man. He reminds me so much of Dennis Rodman. But Draymond, you got to know how far you can go, man. You can't go all the way. You can't jump off the cliff every game, man. Sometimes you got to, you know what I'm saying, okay, get your 1 tech, and then
set the tone, you know what I'm saying? 1 tech, set the tone, you know.
See, Draymond, man, like they say, man, you got to know when to fold him. Draymond be broke. He out gambling, man. With that
Draymond the type of dude that he will go broke before he walk away from that table.
He going all in.
He going all in.
He going all in with a pair of threes.
Listen, with a pair of threes, and guess what? If he got a watch, he gonna take the watch. He gonna throw that in there.
That's my
dad. He gonna take the chain off. He gonna take his shoes off. Hey, these Balenciagas right here.
He gonna be like Eddie Murphy on Life next time. That's my daddy's watch.
That's my daddy watch. He gonna lose his daddy watch. He gonna put his gas money in there.
Boy,
he got to get the last word.
Man, he going all in with a pair of threes.
What we got, Justin? Go ahead, speak it to the mic. Hold on, let me bring Justin in.
Man, yeah, there you
Say it in for me, Justin.
So in that game against the Magic, he got his 9th and 10th. So he's got 10 techs on the season.
Oh, he got 5 more to spell. Okay, he got 5 more. Appreciate that, Justin.
Yes, sir.
He got 5 more. And we got 10 more games. And he about to use every last one of them. And I guarantee you, Draymond know how many technicals he got too before he get to 15.
man, Draymond, man, I think Steve Kerr about to get. Steve Kerr know he need him, but he getting tired of him because, man, you ain't playing. You're only as good as your availability. And if you ain't available, you ain't no good.
There's no ability like availability.
Exactly.
Ain't that the truth? Now, we got some more major news.
Tyler Hero, you hear that? Ain't man, you hear that, Tyler Hero? Ain't no, man, you ain't never available, man.
Now, Tyler Hero, that's another story. That's another segment for another day. I got plenty to say about Tyler Hero. Goddamn. Tyler,
sick of
this coming from 2 Heat fans. We need you, baby.
I'm sick of you, man.
Need you.
Now, when they were talking about trading you earlier this year, I stuck up for you, but I'm against you now. I'm tired.
You stuck up for him now.
I'm tired of it, man. You can't never playoff time. You always hurt. You played one playoff your rookie year, and that was in the bubble. And you've been hurt every come playoff time. You hurt. You're sitting up in the nurse's office.
You done got me in my feelings, Lance. That wasn't part of the show. All right, I'm back. Let me get myself together. All right. So let's segue from the men's game to the women's game. Ice Cube, my dog Ice Cube, making headlines. Caitlin Clark offered $5 million to play for the Big Three. What do you think about
this? Is what I don't get. What do you want her to play against? He gonna what does play against men or unless he gonna start a women's Big Three? That's the only. Man, come on, man. You got her out there again with Jason Richardson and come on, man.
See, the only thing I can think of is every team is going to have a certain allotment of WNBA players, and then WNBA players have to guard each other. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when they drive to that paint, through that hole, and you got Glenn Big Baby Davis down there.
Yeah, I'm saying, man, come on.
I don't know how that's going to work. But I do like the move by Ice Cube. I do like it because our producer Justin Ralston he did some research for us. Do you know the average salary for the WNBA for the highest paid WNBA players is a little over $200,000 a year? So if Ice Cube can make a way for WNBA players can come in, and the Big Three, the Big Three season happens right before the WNBA season.
Yeah.
So if there's a way for Ice Cube is providing a way for the WNBA, the women, to make more money, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah. But I don't get where he going with this, because until you announce that we coming out with a Big Three for women, it looks pointless to everybody else.
Yeah, at this point, it's kind of looking like he's just doing it for clout.
Yeah,
in a way. You know what I'm saying? Sounds good. Hey, and granted, this Caitlin Clark, she's arguably the greatest shooter in WNBA history.
College basketball.
And not WNBA, college basketball history, women's college basketball history. So great move business-wise to say, hey, come over here and play for the Big Three before you start your WNBA season. Make you some money. I love the move. There's still some things that need to be, you got to enlighten me on. You know what I'm saying? Because I would love for it, bring Angel Reese to the Big Three, and Caitlin Clark to the Big Three. All that.
Angel have a field day in that Big Three, man. If it was a woman's Big Three, Angel have a field in that Big Three, man.
Yeah. Listen, Juju, the guard from USC, field day in the Big Three.
Well, let me tell you, but Iowa State had a girl, Audie Cruz.
Audie Cruz.
Boy, listen. She like DJ Barnes. She just like DJ Barnes. So I seen her.
No kidding.
Man, she like DJ Barnes. Man, she dropped 40 the other night in the tournament.
Listen, there's some scores in the WNBA now.
And but they end up losing the next game. She scored 18, but they couldn't. The other shooters weren't shooting. Man, they were triple teaming Audie, and then she kicking out. They were missing.
They was missing.
So that's how they got beat. But when listen, she was like DJ Bourne. When I seen her her in the conference tournament too, and I said the same thing. I like, man, she gonna be trouble in that NCAA tournament because she big like DJ, like Bourne, man. But she might be a little bigger than her. She played for Iowa State, man, and she was tough. But man, she'll be good in that big three. DJ Barnes will be good in that big three.
Listen, there's so many ways that Ice Cube can take this, especially with the women's big three. I love the sound of it. I love the thought of it. Allow these women to make even more money than what they're top. Instead of them having to go overseas to make more money, they'll get a chance to make more money and stay, stateside. I love it. It's just some things I need. I just need some more understanding on it. That's all. I just need some more understanding.
Maybe we'll come up with a women's 3-on-3. She 3.
Yeah. Hey, Ice Cube, you know what? Hold on that thought for women's big three. We got you on that. Don't even worry about it. We'll take care of that. Don't even worry about it.
We got you, Q. Let me run.
We got you, Q. Yeah.
And then when we make you all that money, Q, you'll definitely say the day was a good day.
Oh man. So NBA talk, more NBA talk for you. Houston Rockets. 10 straight.
Yeah.
10 straight. Now, the Houston Rockets, they are a game and a half behind Golden State for that final play-in spot. Last night they beat Oklahoma City Thunder with 37 points behind Jalen Green, the new Pappy to be Jalen Green.
Hey, you know what though? Ever since Jalen Green got that girl pregnant, he been balling, boy.
He been balling. Hey, listen, he got to get him a contract extension now. He got to make him some money.
Ever since he got that girl pregnant, he been balling, boy. Whatever she did to him, she did good for him. Yeah. So ever since she came out, so she pregnant, that boy been balling.
Been balling. And got the Rockets right outside that play-in tournament.
Yeah. They've been
playing good ball, but I should have known they was going to be good because their head coach, Ime Udoka. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Because the only reason he got let go of Celtics is because the whole thing with Nia Long and everything like that. Because he wasn't even supposed to be fired from the Celtics. Like he had Celtics right where they wanted to be as far as a powerhouse, as far as the NBA, as far as playing in the NBA finals, and as far as being a contender in the finals year after year. He was on his way. He was well on his way, and he was a young coach. But that whole situation with Nia Long, Celtics have to save face. They got to fire him. And when the Houston Rockets picked them up, I knew it's only going to be a matter of time before they'll start turning around and winning.
Man, dog, listen, man. Let me count. Let me show this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Man, listen. Okay, the Houston Rockets went on 8-game win. It was on 8 games. They scored over 100 points, and then they lost 1, and they only scored 95. And then in the last 14 games, they have scored 100 points, and on a 10-game winning streak. Man, listen, boy, and when they did lose, the last one they lost to was the Clippers, 122-116.
Right.
But in the winning streak, they scored 123 against the Trailblazers, 112 against the Kings, 103 against the Spurs, 135 against the Wizards, 117 against the Cavs, 137 against the Wizards. They putting a beating on the Wizards. 127 against the Bulls, 147.
Yes.
147 against the Jazz. Then they had 110 against Trailblazers, and then last night in overtime 132 against the Thunder. Man, them boys been scoring some points, man.
Hold on 1 second, Lance. I see the man of the hour is seeing the live right now, Jerry Williamson. So you listen, stay tuned. We got the man of the hour, Jerry Williamson. Get ready to come and join us, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna get ready to talk about everything that's South Florida football, everything as far as education, as far as what's the education in this day and age, changes that need to be. Even, you know, we might even get to talk about a little bit about what's the best in South Florida as far as the best talent wise, as far as, you know, we just don't know what we might talk about, but we got the man Jerry Williamson. He'll be here momentarily, so y'all make sure y'all stay tuned to that. But go back to what you were saying, Lance, because these Rockets, they need to be talked about.
Yeah, them boys been scoring some points, man. So they're doing a good job over there.
They're 37-35. Their next 5 games is at Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Dallas. That's going to be a tough one. I got to make sure I tune into that one.
Yeah.
At Minnesota, Golden State, and Miami. So they got a tough 5-game stretch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the 10 games left. They got a tough 5-game stretch, but they could very possibly sneak into that number 8 spot and that 9 spot for that play-in tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, they
play
good ball, man. They good.
You know, I think the Lakers in the Western Conference, the Lakers are number 9. And Golden State's 10, and Houston is 11.
Yeah, man.
So it could very well.
They might. They can. They can, man. Shoot.
That young talent, man. And they're gonna be dangerous.
It's 10 games left.
So that game against Minnesota, Minnesota's the number 1 seed. So that game against Minnesota, that could be a.
Actually, the Nuggets is now, man.
The Nuggets are the number 1 seed.
Yeah, they actually, but the reason why is because they have played one more game than the Timberwolves. Nuggets played 51-22, and the Timberwolves 50-20. So that's they played one more game more. That's why they ahead of them.
John Griffin, what's up, baby?
Yo,
what's up, my guy?
I was waiting to see what you want to talk your input on these Houston Rockets, man, and what type of team we got going on in Houston, man.
Oh man, Houston been on a rebuild for forever, man. They've been, you know, they've been doing the experiments the past couple decade and a half or whatever. So I mean, for them to actually finally put a team together based off guys that they actually truly believe in, that they can build around, is you seeing the end result, man. You know, you had the John Wall deal go down a couple years ago. You had James Harden go there a couple years ago. You had you done had a lot of guys come through Houston, you know, just trying something, but it just, when you bring guys in for the wrong reason, things tend not to work out how you want them to. But yeah, I mean, we shall see.
And they young too, man. Them boys young too.
It's the right combination of youth and the right coach.
Yeah, you build around a core of young guys, so it's kind of hard to go wrong there.
So, gentlemen, right before we bring in our guest and talk everything that's football and football related and everything, there's one thing we hadn't addressed, man, and probably the GOAT as far as defensive tackles go. I call him the human Broly. I don't know if y'all watch Dragon Ball Z, but it's the human Broly right here. Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald decided to call it quits. Yep. I'm gonna say he's the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, arguably, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but the best defensive tackle to ever play the game. I don't know if that's a stretch for you guys, but hands down, best defensive tackle ever played the game. 3-time defensive player of the year, 10 Pro Bowls, 111 sacks, second most for a defensive tackle, played in 2 Super Bowls. I mean, he's the only defensive lineman I've ever seen in my life that takes about 4 offensive linemen to block his behind. And be moving grown men like they're children.
Donald tough. He was a beast, man. I hate to see him. What, he 10 years?
10 years. Yeah, he's 32.
Yeah, man. He still got some left. You still got some juice left, man. He's just like Barry, man.
Just like you remember Patrick Willis. He walked away from the game at a young age. Yeah. He walked at about 31, 30. But you know, some guys in the NFL feel like I'd rather walk away than limp away.
Yeah.
And they interview
Yeah,
Aaron
that's
Donald.
really what it is.
Yeah. And they interview Aaron. They said that Aaron just felt like he's done everything he wanted to do. There's nothing for him to accomplish anymore.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, when you comes right down to it, he has 10 Pro Bowls, 3 Defensive Player of the Years, a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl. I mean, he felt like he's content. As much
To
as I'm
get
gonna miss
there,
him
the 2
playing.
years that he got there, to get there to the 2 years that he got there and be a major factor on both of those squads is it's a rarity in itself. You get guys that go to the Super Bowl one time in their whole career, and it's just like, okay, this is it. I never get the opportunity to come back, but they got there while he was still, on the rise in his career, and then they were able to get back. And I think the Super Bowl win started his fall off. Not necessarily his fall off as far as play, but I think as far as personally, I feel like that was his fall. That's when it started, because it was like, okay, I finally attained, what I've worked my whole life for, and that's to be a NFL champion, a Super Bowl champion. Like you said, 10 Pro Bowls. Yeah, I mean, that's just that's the icing on the cake, so to speak. It's just like, okay, a lot of guys have tremendous Pro Bowl careers and never won a Super Bowl. They never get to play in the Super Bowl. You look at Calvin Johnson, you look at, so many guys that they have Hall of Fame worthy careers and Hall of Fame careers. And, they
Barry
check off all the
Sanders.
boxes. Yeah, it's so many, man. We can go on this list all day long. Then, you get those guys that, they go 3, 4, and 5 times. They win 3, they win 2, or it doesn't mean the same for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
for a
kind of
lot
like,
of guys.
yeah.
Trying to keep that
when
fire
you win,
lit.
that's expectation.
Yeah.
In a sense, when you become accustomed to winning, it becomes an expectation. And I feel like that's the reason why you start to see a lot of veterans walk away when we know they have a lot left in the tank. It's because, trying to get these younger guys to understand that when you're a young guy, that you walk into that locker room and think about it. Think about, whatever D tackle, D lineman, whatever, that walked into that locker room, after the Rams won that Super Bowl. You're coming in and this team's at their peak.
Yeah.
And it's like you understand that, okay, my expectations are high, but do you really understand how high your expectations are? Because like everybody around here, this is a routine. So you're coming into a championship culture at this point where it's like, hey, we're trying to get back here. Now, granted, things don't work out like that all the time, but it's like, it's losing cultures and winning cultures.
Hold that, Griffin, because we got the man of the hour had just made his way to the studio. So, I like to do my introductions, man. And this one, he deserves an introduction just like all the rest of them do. So let's get right into it. How about it, guys? So my guest coming into the show, he's a huge cog on the South Florida scene. He is the headmaster and founder of Rise Preparatory Academy in South Florida, which he started in 2018. He has worked as a sports writer in numerous publications for multiple sports. He is highly acclaimed covering sports with publications Generation Next and his own in Rising Stars. I happen to follow that page. I love the page. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Jerry Williamson.
Hello, thanks for having me.
How's it going, Jerry?
Everything is going well.
Man, I'm so excited to have you on the show, man. I really appreciate you for stopping by and chatting it up with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, Jerry, man, let's get right into it now. So, I know that you are a longtime educator and you're currently administrator at Rise Preparatory Academy. So, I just want let us know your background, your upbringing, and what got you into education.
My background is mainly in education and sports. I started off as a aftercare coordinator, where I later became a lead teacher, where I later became a honors honors lead teacher, and then I also was a artistic teacher as well. So I kind of basically uncovered every, you can say every spectrum when it comes to education, from general ed to honors to special education. So I always had an education background when it comes to that. I also was a counselor and I also was a CAP advisor. So when it comes to education, I've literally been seeing it all from the classroom to the transcripts to the administration part. As far as the sports side, I was a youth football coach, which actually led me to the education side because I remember coming out to a park watching kids playing football, and they was kids who basically, they went to school, they didn't do well academically. So I'm like, you guys can still play. Why are you out here wasting your time just playing on the park? And I just, out the kindness of my heart, I just picked up my phone and I made a few calls to junior colleges, and I started. That was my first phase of sending kids off to school before I even had a school. So while I was in college at Miami-Dade College and FIU, I was sending kids in the inner city off to college. So like that's how that all came about. Then I later ended up becoming a writer. And honestly, I didn't even see a school in the future for me. I thought I'd probably be somewhere like, I don't know, as a football coach or something in sports management, but not actually as a head of school. But once I put my knowledge together with education and sports, I realized the public school system had a lot of flaws in it. Kids were taking courses that they didn't need. Once you learn a quarterly semester, you'll realize that it's limitations to it. It makes a class takes 10 months when it technically doesn't take that long. And then I learned the EOCs and FSAs. That wasn't even around when we was in school. So, once I realized all the flaws, I realized when I saw the online world, I was like, wait a minute, this is something different right here. I noticed all the pros. And, of course, coming from a traditional school, whenever you see online education, that was considered like what a alternative school. So it's a hard time trying to educate parents the difference between education. It's three phases of education. You have brick and mortar, which is traditional.
Right.
You have homeschool, which is parent led, and then you have online education, which is also a version of homeschool, but you're technically just doing work through a private school online. So many people just know of the two. They just know either homeschool with parent led or they know brick and mortar. So I pretty much going to educate the South Florida Rail on, the three types of education. And, over time they have seen kids pretty much go off to college. Now, as far as my upbringing, I'm from Southwest Miami-Dade County. I'm from West Bryan. I literally made it from the inner city. So first generation graduate. So everything you see, I pretty much did on my own. Even when I built the school, I didn't have no networking, no resources. I literally started from the bottoms, and now I'm over 200 kids, and I literally started off in a shopping plaza in the inner city, which is West Bryan. Now I done grew from a total of 4 kids to over 200 plus kids now.
So as far as your academy, what's the grades? What's the ages and grades?
So the academy goes from 5th grade to 12th grade.
Okay.
Students are basically 8th to 12th grade, majority of them.
Okay. So with you staying in the education, I'm pretty sure you've seen, the dynamics of education change. And when I say that, as far as the teachers and the high turnover rate and everything like that. So what do you think needs to be fixed in the education realm as far as, the academic side and also, teacher retention?
Well, first thing, the EOCs and all this testing, it needs to be taken out of school. That's the first thing, if you ask me. If you went to school during the 80s, the 90s, and, prior, you notice the teachers at that time, it was a longer retention, right? Your mom went to school, 9 out of 10, your mom had that teacher at that school. So it was more of a village at that time where you didn't need any intensive reading or intensive math class. The teachers actually cared and they wanted to see you do well in the classrooms.
Almost it takes a village to raise a child type of thing.
Yes. But those days are gone now. They're literally gone. As far as the curriculum, a teacher cannot teach a kid to do well in the class when they have to prepare for a EOC, a test at the end of the year. So you pretty much eliminate a teacher for being creative when they have to prepare for a test. See, parents don't realize that. That test eliminates the teacher of actually being as creative in the classroom.
Yeah, too, man. Because man, I've seen some smart kids, man. But when they get they making straight A's, and I know the kids smart because I work in the school system too, man. And when when it comes to the testing, they don't do that good on tests. Some people have testing anxiety, man, and that hinders your the way you're thinking and the way you normally would think. And so I definitely get that, man, because I seen it firsthand too, man. That with some super smart kids that I know that were smart, and you can look from their grades and their test ain't where if you look at their grades and their test scores, it ain't matching up.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
So the problem with another thing with that is when it comes to education too is when you say when it comes to testing, okay, you remember when you was in school, as long as you did well during the first, second, third quarter, you knew come fourth quarter you was fine.
Yeah.
Now because of testing, what you do in the fourth quarter is worth 30% of your grade. So even if you had a B or C, if you don't do well on that test, you basically just failed the year. And guess what? If you're a student athlete, you just now forfeit a chance of earning your half a credit for the class. So all you will earn is the first and second quarter credit. Without a third and fourth quarter credit, you can't get a whole. So come your senior year, you'll realize, hey, I need a whole credit to pass this class, and now I can accept a scholarship. But this is not explained to all the kids. Come these senior years when reality hits, and then they realize, like, oh, why no one didn't tell me this? Because there's a lot of counselors who's not really prepared to be an athletic counselor. And if you're into sports, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jerry. So we all coach. We're all coaches. I coach at Leon High School, and we will all coach together. And what I see with guys is that Play-Doh classes and all that good stuff. They think that they can bulljize and waste time, and then think at the tail end of it they can take all these Play-Doh classes and think they're good, not realizing that doesn't affect their core GPA.
Yes.
And I've seen a lot of guys fall by the wayside by that.
We know
talented guys.
We know the issue. Sorry not to cut you off. The issue with that is the counselors actually set them up in a fair situation, because if you know how the system works, you can only take classes certain years, right? So some of these counselors power these kids up with elective classes at 9th or 10th grade year, when it should be the other way around. It should be more in elective classes. So of course the kid realizes, hey, I have a high GPA. But once you come and break down the transcript, wood shop, home economics, and intensive reading, all those classes don't count. Guess what? On the sad part is some of these kids going into their senior year without even taking a foreign language class. And you need to do foreign language. So yeah, I don't see the horror story. So when kids enroll at Rise Preparatory Academy, I personally create the academic plan from the first day they enroll, and I oversee their transcript. Well, what most counselors do is when you enroll into a school, they don't look at the school and see if it was an NCAA approved or it was regional accredited. As long as the school had a school code, they're going to add it on your transcript. You're going to go from there. So what I do is break down their transcript, and I see where these credits come from. Okay, NCAA approved. I write down all their classes, and then I create an academic plan for them. Now, what most people don't realize is, I always say coaches get the confusion is, they go to Rise Preparatory Academy and they GPA, they be sky high. Honestly, this is the truth. That's me personally thinking about the kid's best interest. So when I break down that transcript, I realize whatever grades they didn't do well, they're going to have to retake those classes. A majority of people tell you they don't really like that, but on the back end, they're happy. So what I do is prepare an academic plan that consists of only core classes. That's what makes Rise Preparatory Academy unique. When you enroll at Rise Preparatory Academy, you're only taking classes that count towards your NCAA. You're not taking, like you said, no Play-Doh classes. So, with us, you can take 6 core classes within a semester. I want you to think about this. It takes 4 quarters to earn a whole credit, right?
Right.
All right. So what if I told you if you enroll in Rise Preparatory Academy in 2 quarters, which is first, second quarter, after the second quarter is over with, you can earn a total of 6 core classes for the whole year. That's equivalent to 2 years at a public school. So this is how our students get ahead when it comes to academics. We're not on a quarterly system or a semester system. It's basically based on assignments. So what I do is when you enroll into the school, most classes on average are like 300 assignments. What I do is prepare a academic plan for you week by week, where you will complete that class within 3 or 4 months. That's if the kid is actually serious. So for example, if you're a 10th grader, right? Let's say 9th grade you came in and you had a 2.0 GPA. All right, out of the 6 classes that you took as a 9th grader, only 3 was towards the NCAA, right? Because the other 3 classes were electives. what I can do now as a 10th grader is I can make you retake those 3 classes as a 10th grader and include another 3 classes your 10th grade year. Once the semester over with, you now have a brand new GPA because you have completed your 9th grade and 10th grade year in one semester. So that's how kids come over and their GPAs are improved. You know, I could be a typical counselor and just say, okay, you passed algebra 1 with a D. Okay, here's geometry. No, I'm gonna basically do geometry and you're gonna do algebra 1 over again and you're gonna get a better grade. So that's explains why the kids who come over, their GPAs are good. And we also have academic monitors. Even though I'm an online school, the kid is not safe. I literally have someone who I hire that literally monitors their work every day. And when they do not meet their goals, they have to call and report in with me. And once you're on academic probation, you have to be on Zoom 3 times a week with a teacher. So it's instruction when you come in. It's not just a online homeschool and you're just free to do what you want. That's why my success rate is high when it comes to early enrollees. Like this year, we're on pace to have 25 to 30 kids early enrollees. And we talk about most of those guys will be 3 and 4 stars. So this is a school when you come over, you're going to get ahead, but at the same time, if you think it's going to be laid back, this is not a place for you. We put in a lot of work. That's why people see the success stories on social media, but they don't understand what goes on behind the scenes. It's a lot of
yeah. 2 man, and I have a son that I have a son that goes to public school and one that goes to Florida virtual, man. And the one that goes to Florida virtual, he has to be on Zoom calls, a certain amount of Zoom calls a week too, also too. So yeah, I think that's pretty good about with the Zoom calls, man. I think that's a pretty good because if he's not on that Zoom call, parents getting the call.
Correct.
Yeah. So, because a lot of homeschool, man, they set you up and then they just let you go and you never really hear from them or unless you contact them or or you have a problem, they don't monitor you, they don't do anything. They just see that you done did the work on the computer or just put your grade in and really don't have anything to do with you, no interaction with you. But man, I think that's good, man. How you got it set up.
All right. So if you watch my Rising Stars page, most people get confused. Rising Stars is not the school Rise Preparatory Academy. So all the kids who play sports outside of Rise Preparatory Academy, I post them on my page. So if you're outside looking in, you'll think the school name is Rising Stars, but no, it's Rise Preparatory Academy. So since I have student athletes, I will post them on the page.
Right.
But for the most part, I mean, I literally have a lot of big time prospects in the school, and once parents education work, it's kind of like a parent saying, "Hey, it took me X amount of years to finish these courses, but over here, it took me it took a lot sooner than before." But I explained to you, once you understand the difference of brick and mortar and online schooling, you'll realize the advantage from there. So pretty much the way I have it set up is, if a kid is serious, if you come to me as an 8th grader, I literally have a plan set up where you can finish school within 2.5 years, academically if you're serious, and then after that, you begin to take dual enrollment classes. So coming to Rise Preparatory Academy, being an early enrollee, that's not even celebrated. That's expected. That's the way we got it set up over here. As far as the dual enrollment credits, I feel if I can get these young men, these young ladies at least closer to an AA degree, come college, I'm guaranteeing these parents after 2 years of college, their sophomore year, they have a bachelor's degree now. And if they decide to stay to their senior year, they now have a master's degree. So I feel like long term, I set them up for a better success rate compared to like when I was in school, because hey, I graduated from Miami Palmetto. They did a great job. But for the most part, if you wasn't no elite kid in sports, or you wasn't a studious kid in academics, no one really cared about you. You was like in the middle. And me, I've been over now for 6 years. And what I take pride in is that for the past 6 years, I've had a 100% rate with kids going off to college and the military. So that's one thing that I take pride in. When you come and enroll with me, is either you're going to go to a trade school, you're going to the military, or you're going to college. One of the three. I'm gonna make sure when you leave from me, you're not just getting a diploma and just going out into the world and trying to figure it out. So that's another thing I take pride in too. And parents realize that, and they know I have their best interest. And like I said, those 4 and 5 stars, I don't need nerds on purpose, because I understand that they're still immature, but on the back end, they'll think come signing day. And trust me, the work is when I go to these signing days and you see all these kids who was 4 stars, 3 stars, and they didn't qualify because there wasn't nobody in their corner who was pushing them academically. You know, he had a lot of football people in their corner, but they didn't have nobody who really cared about them.
Yeah.
So in some role with me, the academic side is going to be taken care of because that's going to be one of my main focuses. He's not doing it. You know, you're going to hear from me.
So I'm glad you just said that because it was a kid here locally. He was committed to University of Oklahoma. He was going to be a Sooner. And, you know, everybody was curious as to, you know, how did he sign his letter of intent? And then come graduation, he has to go JUCO. And you kind of just broke that down for the most part because of, you know, Play-Doh classes and whatnot. And having an advisor that didn't really know what they were doing.
Correct.
You pretty much just broke that down because I was curious about that for the longest time. I'm like, man, how is this kid, you know, a 4-star and, you know, signed his letter of intent on National Signing Day, and then, you know, turn around, it's time to go off to school, and they're like, yeah, you graduated, but you can't go where you signed to. You got to go to a community college for a little bit because you know, this, that, and the third is jacked up. And everybody was trying to, you know, figure it out. Was it, you know, off field activity or anything like that? Because you never heard anything from both parties. But now that you're saying, you know, everything about the Play-Doh classes and things of that nature, it makes a whole lot more sense now.
Right. I can go even depth. It's 3 reasons why, and most people don't realize this. I'm gonna give you the 3 reasons why kids do not qualify, and it's not just okay. Usually, people tell kids get good grades. Even when I was coaching youth football, NFL guys come back and they say get good grades. I can't stand when they say that to kids. You need to go more in depth so these kids can understand. This is how you become unqualified, and these are the 3 reasons why kids do not become unqualified. Number 1. At the end of your high school year, you have to have at least a 2.3 GPA overall in your classes. Most kids do not know that. Number 2, before the start of your senior year, coaches, you guys are coaches. You guys know the 10-7 rule, right? The 10-7 rule. Most of the kids don't even realize what is a 10-7 rule. So basically, what that means is between your English, math, and science classes, you must have passed a total of 7 core classes and have a 2.3 GPA within those courses. Most they have no clue about that. They have no clue. And then the third one will be usually with the institution. Some schools require 3 foreign languages. Some schools require like certain courses like U.S. history, world history. So this is why it's important to have a sports academic counselor, because when you're getting recruited, these are the 3 things you need to know. And honestly, these kids don't know none of the above. They just know that, oh, my weighted GPA is a 2.7. You know, scratch off the Play-Doh classes. It's normally like a 2.2. And then when you break down the 10-7 rule, they're probably like a 1.8 within that department. So that right there just made you a non-qualifier. So that 10-7 rule is what kills most of the kids. Or if you don't have 7 credits between English, math, and science before your senior year, you also a non-qualifier. So as we were explaining about the EOCs, if you fail the EOCs, you now have a half a credit. You don't have a whole credit. So you will be an academic qualifier. Most coaches, believe it or not, honestly, it's not their job, but they don't know how to read they don't know how to read the transcript, and they don't really know the NCAA bylaws. It's just everyone knows about it when a college coach requests the transcript, and then that college academic advisor breaks it down and tells you, hey, this kid is in trouble. That's when everybody they run for the hills and try to find the kid help. Some kids have, and some kids they do not. So that's the 3 reasons why kids are not academic qualifiers.
We work for a coach, man, a head coach. He wouldn't let none of his players take Play-Doh classes.
There we go.
Shouts out to Tyrone McGriff too, my boss, man. He was adamant about them Play-Doh classes. We are not taking Play-Doh classes. Don't even say the P word.
Play-Doh classes. And he gonna get you the class.
The Play-Doh class
that need to be in. He watched the players' grades and get them in classes that they need like no other coach I've seen. I've been around, man. So, but he stressed to his players, we are not taking Play-Doh classes. See, because he used to be an athletic director too. So before he was a head coach, he was the athletic director. So he know, man. Yeah, and he stressed. We are not taking Play-Doh classes.
No,
and
sir.
then he gonna get the athlete in all the classes they need to be NCAA eligible. So he does a great job, man. Shout out to you, Coach Tyrone McGriff, man, for doing what you doing, going the extra mile for these kids. So
Okay, so
Hey,
Coach, let me ask
we
you.
can say that now. We can say that now, but let's not act like year 2 at Florida High we weren't miserable with how many kids we lost.
yeah,
I mean, we talking about kids that
but
because
if you,
Florida High it's a charter school. But some of the kids we lost, if they were at any other middle school in Leon County or any of the middle school in the state of Florida, they would have been eligible. But because of their own in-house rules, if you don't have a 2.7 in middle school, if you don't have a 2.7 in middle school, you're ineligible. You're not playing.
Oh, wow.
And so yeah, hats off for that, man. Setting kids up for success and coaching that though.
So all right, so here's another thing that parents don't realize. All right, when a kid goes to a private school, they like the atmosphere, they like the culture, right? When you go to private schools, you have to do what? Take what? Religion classes, right? Unfortunately, parents don't realize religion classes are equivalent to Plato classes also.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Can't be a early enrollee.
Mm-hmm.
So those things when parents go to high school, I mean, they pick these private schools. That's not saying all of them work the same way. I want to make that clear. But majority of the time, you have to take these religion classes, which honestly, you sign up to a private school, so you have to take those courses. But those are equivalent to Plato classes. And then when it comes time for these kids wanting to be an early enrollee, according to the school, you can't. So when it's time for you to pick these schools, parents don't never think about that until the very end. So I had one kid. He was telling me his story. He could have been an early enrollee, but because of how the school moves, he could not be an early enrollee, and he ended up losing his scholarship because of that. So I have seen some stories.
You hate hearing that.
When it comes to education, it looks good. See, unfortunately, most parents look at the football field, and that's how they pick their schools.
Yeah.
They don't think about the academic part. They don't think about if the school got an athletic counselor. They just know they winning games, and my baby's going there. That's how it goes.
They packing them stands.
So now that we're at the topic of football, Jerry, I know this is a topic that you've been quite vocal on social media, in which I agree wholeheartedly with. And we all know how the transfer portal has completely changed the dynamics of recruiting. But you've been quite vocal as far as kids and how they need to move as far as 8th graders going into their 9th grade. So if you were sitting a parent at home and they're about to become a freshman, what's the biggest advice you'll give to those parents and that player about what's the first step he needs to do to set them up for success as far as academically and as far as playing wise, as far as that?
All right. So, academically, we all coaches. So let's now shift over from school to coaching mode now.
Okay.
Now we know most of the kids who are elite kids are not the best academic kids. We know that.
Right on.
Right.
When it comes to parent support, there's really no parent support. That coach is pretty much their parents. And if it wasn't for the coach, that kid probably won't even, he would never made it that far. So with that being said, when it comes to schooling, if you got a kid who's a academic wayward kid, it may look cool going to the private school, but that kid is going to have a hard time because if he's a kid that suffers when it comes to academics, they're not going to slow it down for that kid. So what's going to happen is he's going to be one of those kids who's going to be tutoring, and he's going to be like a C student for the best part. He's not going to get A's or B's. So while as a parent you're happy saying, "Oh yes, my baby go to prestigious private school," your child never was a prestigious academic kid. So when they get towards his senior year, that 2.3 is actually a challenge now because in reality, he should never went there in the first place. And we want to talk about academically. So I want to throw that out there first. When you got these kids who are borderline academics, unfortunately, private schools, you gotta basically cut them off because he never was the most in the first place. All right, now this kid probably belongs at a public school where you got a coach or usually the coaches are security guards, somebody who literally be around this kid watching his every move because let's be honest with you, the parents are not going to be around. So that's regarding the kids who are not the best academic students because this always happens. So I wanted to bring that up first. Now, when it comes to academics, now on the sports side, when you visit these schools, I want you to go to these schools and say, okay, can you show me your academic advisor, right? Now, the Programs, you have high schools and you have programs. The programs will have athletic advisors.
Mhm.
All right. Football teams just have counselors. That's one thing, too. Number two, programs actually take kids on college tours and they actually understand when it comes to film. See, that's something that parents don't realize. I hear kids say, I'm an athlete. Are you an athlete or are you an athlete when it comes to film? What do I mean by that? When college coaches come, they say they like to what? Evaluate a kid, right? So
Right.
if you're going to tell me you're an athlete, your film should say offense, defense, special teams in the sequence, right? That tells the coach. Most kids say I'm an athlete. How are you an athlete when you got 10 plays at wide receiver and you got like one player quarterback? So like this is the dynamic that coaches have no idea when it comes down to it. And then secondly, I know youth football is about stacking teams. So these kids go into high school with this big head. Oh, I don't play for we don't want 2 national championships. I'm not going to this mediocre high school. I'm going to the best high school. Wrong. There's only maybe like 2% of kids who can go from the park to elite high school and play right away. You don't see a lot of those kids. So what hurt them is that youth football teaches kids to go to the stagnant team and win games. But in the recruiting world, it's the opposite. When you get to high school, you actually want to go to a school where you can play at right away. As a
Yeah.
you get your film, and guess what? In a year or two, elite school's gonna do what? Recruit you away to that school. See, what parents and youth football don't understand is they always look at the backlash of recruiting. That kid that went to like a school called Pines Villa, right? Played maybe 8th to 10th grade, and then he done transferred to elite school his 11th to 12th grade year. When that parent go and watch that school, she's looking at that kid 11th to 12th grade year offers, right? Not realizing he did that 3 years ago. So that's the misconception. So what she's doing is going against the grain. She's going directly to the school to play what? JV and freshman when that kid basically played varsity. So that's like the big and honestly in the recruiting world, how does it work? You get your stars between 8th and 10th grade. That's how it goes. Stop me if I'm lying, you can stop me. When it comes to your stars and these rankings, it's basically between 9th and 10th grade. So, you have a lot of old heads saying trust the process. Trust it. Hey, listen, I hate to tell you, man, the recruiting game has changed, man.
Yeah.
Nobody offers their 12th grade. This is how recruiting works.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I had 2 kids that played for the Richmond Giants, right? They won a national championship, right? Half of the kids went to a elite private school, right? And then I told the kids, trust my knowledge. Those 2 kids went to Palm Glaze Prep, right? They was like, what? They chose Palm Glaze over elite high school? I said, trust me, I know the business. They went there, they didn't win one game. But they was able to get the film that they were supposed to get. And then I knew for a fact, both of those guys played corner and safety. They were 6 foot tall. Coaches, we know a 6 foot kid is what? Division I.
Yes.
Upside, right?
Yes.
They went there, they got the film, and when the film was over with, like a kid, they had the wrong plays. I went there, I broke down their film. This is where you need to do it. And when I was over with, when you get somebody who can push you to a college, I did that, and the rest is history. Those kids now from that same team, all the other kids that went to elite schools, they don't have no offers. Those kids who went to the school that didn't win one game, they got 6 to 7 offers, and most notably University of Miami. So I showed the parents, if you understand how the business goes, it's not the jersey. It's what you do measurable wise, film wise, and most importantly, you know who's going to market you early. That's the business. So like these same kids I'm telling you, which is Zion Davis, all right, and Stephen Moore. Well, I'm sorry, Stephen Moore from the True North. So he wasn't on the team that didn't win in the games. But Quatavius Lyons, Zion Davis, and Stephen Moore. These 3 guys, 8th graders, played at the lowest level competition, but it came down to varsity film, and most importantly, their film was able to be evaluated, and they got offers now. It's that simple. So, unfortunately, in the inner city community, you can tell these people this, but, they like listen to other people. Let's just say that. They like listen to the next race before they listen to you. And if 2 years down the line and they still don't listen, then they want to come back to junior, senior year and say, I should have listened to you. Well, guess what? In the recruiting world, it's too late now.
Too late.
If you're looking for a U.S. Army All-American invite or a 4-star, you can forget about it. Just be happy if you can get your FCS, FBS offer and, call it a day. And that right there is the recruiting game right there. It's really that simple, but I don't know why. People go against the grain every time because they look at a logo. believe the lies. Like, just think about it. If I'm a coach, my job is to sell you a dream because I want my roster with all the elite kids. My job is not to tell you, you know what, go over there and play for that school and get your stars and your offers up. You want to know why? Why would I tell you that? Because now that you got all this fame, you're not gonna need me. You're gonna be even more better than before. So, that's how the process goes. So a lot of coaches don't like when I make my posts because they know I'm telling the truth. And what I'm doing is they want to keep the parents dumbed down. Me, I have a school and I give you free game. So it's not even for the kids, even for my kids. I'm putting you up on game. It's up to you if you want to listen. And I don't have guys over the years who parents always tell me, "Hey man, I watch your page and I appreciate your knowledge." It's guys like Brandon Enos. People don't even realize before he even went to high school. I had a conversation with his family and asked, what schools would be relevant for him. And we literally broke it down. And I told him, I said, you know what, U school would be a great situation. I didn't realize his mom was a teacher at the time. I said, listen, he's not going to win a state championship, but he's going to be able to play in all three phases of the game, and he's going to be something special. His first offer, well, not first offer, yeah, first offer was from Ohio State. So while people see, the offer from the back end at American Harris Plantation, that offer actually came for Coach Luque at University School as an eighth grader. So you see how this business go? So I just try to explain to the parents, like I said, it's always that few. Armando Blunt spoke to him ever since eighth grade. And, those parents listen. They always come back and say, hey, man, thank you for your advice. You was right. And unfortunately, it's always going to be that little small percent. Everybody else is, they feel they bigger than everything. Now we got to go, oh, I'm sorry. I got to change subjects. It's the same thing. Another reason why kids in Dade County don't make it. You have parents who crazy about playing in the stadium. And this is not a down south thing, but it's like an up north thing. It's a trash pile. So a kid can go and probably play at a smaller school for their first 2 years, but it's all about trash pile, baby. My baby we got to be at trash pile. So I'm looking,
they call it the Mecca.
Logic. They don't think logic. They don't. It's sad, man. But a lot of kids, pretty much, they may be still in the right direction, but their parents may be and they listen to this dude who never even went to college, who don't even know recruiting. And Coach, you know what I'm talking about. You know how that goes.
Yeah. Man, we know a kid, man. He was playing a lot at the school he was at, man. But then he transferred to Miami Central. Never got it. Never won getting in the game.
Yeah. Hey.
Now you ain't got no film.
Yeah, that happens though, man. But at the same time, I tell parents, listen, Miami Central's a powerhouse, right? That's like Northwestern. They're gonna bring you in, but if you ain't ready, they're not gonna start you. And that's their fault. That ain't their fault.
Yeah, and now you want your goal was to get to college. You ain't got no film. You was starting where you was at. And you was the man where you was at. You transferred to Central. Now you ain't got no film. You ain't got no more film. And you ain't playing.
So this is another thing that parents don't realize. That you could be an elite eighth grader. You could be elite for your class in eighth grade. But when you go to these powerhouse, are you better than an elite 11th grader? Are you better than an elite 12th grader? It's usually no. So when they be making these moves to these powerhouse schools, you need to ask yourself as a parent, is my 9th grader better than this 11th grader? They don't think about that. They don't think about it. They don't. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
So I remember, Jerry, I remember back in the day where, a recruit, he could have a slow recruitment, and then his senior year, his 11th grade year, his 12th grade year, his recruitment just take off. But that's the thing of the past now, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the thing of the past. You got kids. So I remember you saying that as you get later and later for recruitment, you start competing against that transfer portal.
That's right. So I'll explain that.
Backwards.
I'll explain that. People don't realize I used to cover kids 11th to 12th grade, and then once I learned the business, half of the time the kids who were in 11th to 12th grade, I got tired of hearing these same stories. Hey, coach, I'm gonna get it up. I'm like, half the kids don't even have no grades, man. They don't have no grades. And then once I understand the recruiting business, their classes are already made up going into their junior year. Who they're gonna recruit? So then I said, man, let me redirect my attention. I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna go down to the 8th to 10th grade. And anybody can tell you who basically covers South Florida. I was the biggest advocate for 8th graders playing varsity. I've been doing that for the longest. And it's now basically coming where everybody understands what's going on. But the reason I went 8th to 10th grade, I said, look, this is the time I can educate the kids what they need to do academically, and then I can also promote the kids, because when it comes to college recruiting boards, their boards are still open until after their 10th grade year. So those are the freebie years. You can make a name for yourself and get on those boards. After the 10th grade year is over with, it's reality now.
Mhm.
Now coming to the 11th grade year, you're now competing with the transfer portal, JUCOs, post-grad kids, and it's not fun. I also think about this too. What also killed recruiting was not even the transfer portal. It was the early enrollee. If a kid's going to graduate in December of his senior year, as a college program, I have to start recruiting you as early as your 11th grade year.
Right.
That's why when it comes to recruiting, once that recruiting class is in 11th grade, the offers slow down, because now as a coach, I got to win you over to make you sign and be there by December. So that's another reason why offers slow down. And then now they have the transfer portal open twice. So right now, the transfer portal is going to open on April 14th. So, we could have an offer right now from the University of Miami, right? Now kids hit the portal on April 14th at our position, and guess what? Our offer is gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
So that's why I stress 8th through 10th grade. Most people take it as if, Jerry, like he tried to steer the kids to go to smaller schools. No, I tell the kids go places that make sense, so you can get known. Honestly, South Florida basically hurt a lot of kids. We can have so many more Division I kids, but they out of position, or they want to be with the crowd playing JV and freshman team, and they lose out on the cycle. Because what I learned in this recruiting world is the people who judge you that you're going to be a 4 or 5 star, if you walk around them, if you see them holding the clipboard, they blend in the crowd like as if they're like a professor or teacher. You don't even know who they are. Those are the guys who dictate who you're going to be. And how do they know who is who? They just go by measurables, height and weight, and the verbal offers. That's it. They don't care that your park was the best park in the country, or you're on a team that won national championship. All they know, hey, John Doe plays running back in the 9th grade. He's already 5'11". He's 160 pounds. I ran like a 4'6", 4'7", and he has varsity film. Now, all we need, John Doe, is to get a few offers, and guess what? Even if John Doe wasn't the best in his class, based on paper, varsity film and offers, he's the best in his class, and that's how it goes. That's why we always say, man, how that kid over there in Nebraska better than the kid over here? Because he's been playing varsity since 9th grade. He done ran for 2,000 yards, 9th and 10th grade. Yeah, it wasn't against the best, but once again, these people don't care about the competition. They look at the body and the measurables and the athleticism and the offers. That's it. And a coach told me now, he said, in this era of football, they no longer looking for the dogs unless you be Alabama or Georgia. They looking for the best athletes. So I can go on the track field. I can go on track and field. I can find a kid by 6 foot tall, run by the 10.5. I put him on the football field, and that corner, even he's not the best tackler, just because he's 6 foot, he running the 10.5, and he can flip his hips a little bit. They're going to offer that kid over the best kid in high school just off his upside, not because he's the best corner. And that's what parents don't understand. It's all about a height, weight gain, and plugging kids in the right position. That's how it goes.
Yeah, man. I played varsity football in the 8th grade, man. I did.
Oh,
I did. I got the chance to play varsity football in the 8th grade, man. I did that, and so I do know what you're talking about, man. I definitely understand that, man. And like my brother, he went to college, but he played varsity basketball. He went to play for basketball. He played varsity basketball in the 8th grade. So we got to do that, man. So.
I want to make this known. I'm not an advocate that every kid should play varsity in the 8th grade. I'm an advocate of who actually has the early measurables. Like if you the 6 foot 5'11" kid at cornerback, 150 pounds, playing varsity in the 8th grade benefits you. If you just offensive line who like 580 pounds, I mean, you playing varsity in the 8th grade, it doesn't benefit you. You might well go back to the park. Right. The only kids who have like at least the early measurables as a height and weight. Or height.
Yeah.
That's who it.
And that's gonna give you that extra film, though, man. That's what it's gonna give you, that extra film.
I mean, think about this too. By you playing varsity as an 8th grader and getting these stats, the best kid on the park is probably James Brown. But when it comes to the recruiting world, they know about you because you jumped on the scene a year early, and they're not yet. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna play varsity as an 8th grader. I know I'm not the best in the county. But into the recruiting world, as of right now, I'm the best. I'm going to go into my 9th grade year and have another good year. And guess what? That kid who went 8th grade, he more likely gonna go on somebody JV be a backup. So now in the recruiting world, I got 2 years ahead of that kid from the part. And in the recruiting world, I'm the better kid, and that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So Jerry, let me ask you. So in this day and age of college football, when you have the transfer portal, NIL, and everything in between, what do you feel about college football and where it's heading with conference realignment and all those good things? What do you feel like college football and where it's heading right now?
Oh man, I used to be a fan of college football, man. I'm a Gators fan, just so y'all know. But, man,
Oh Lord,
I know. I know one of these days we'll get great again. But with the transfer portal now, I don't know if you can even be a fan. It's like a kid is there one day and he's gone the next day. The coaches, they're gone also too. It's no stability now. It's no stability. And then
right.
the other thing too is these kids are coming out of high school. They no longer want to compete. They got their hand now. How much money you gonna give me? So half of those kids, when they get that money, you think they're gonna be hungry again? They come to college now they lazy. So you're not even getting a 5-star prospect. You getting a kid before the moment you yell at him, he's hitting the transfer portal.
Listen, you hit the nail on the head, man. I transfer portal and the NIL has ruined college football. Man, I used to think college football was the greatest game in the world, man.
Yeah. I watch it, but I'm no longer interested in college football anymore because of the transfer portal. I do believe athletes should get paid, but the problem is you got kids who need a reality check. The ones who getting paid are the kids who they can go NFL right now. The 6'6" DNs and 240 running 5. You got kids in South Florida. We got to tell to lift weights and look like a prospect. And they talking about how much money you giving me. It's just like the whole mind messed up right now. And as a coach, I mean, how can I be honest? A kid ain't coming to tour the school for no, they ain't coming to ask about academics or facilities. They want to know how much money they're gonna get paid. You know that.
What you about to say, Sean?
But I was about to say, I think that the best way that you could change NIL and the transfer portal is there has to be a cap for NIL.
I agree.
You have to. You're paying these kids like professional athletes now. Professional teams have salary caps. There has to be a cap for NIL. There also has to be an understanding that everybody's not valued at the same thing as far as NIL. You don't have the same name, image, and likeness of Shedeur Sanders, and you're a quarterback. Don't expect to come here and get paid. Hey, I know y'all didn't get Shedeur, but y'all offered Shedeur $5 million to come here. Okay, that's Shedeur. You're not valued at $5 million.
That's right.
If I walk you through this mall right now, will you need security or not? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's more so like making these kids understand that it's just like the workforce. Just because we do the same job, I might get paid more than you do. You might get paid more than I do. I don't know that. So I feel like it's some things for NIL aspect that need to be redacted to keep its integrity. And then the transfers, I don't mind the transfer portal, but I feel like there needs to be limits on the transfer portal as well. You had a system in place that worked, and I feel like, okay, you made a couple changes to it, but now it's like it's too. You made the change at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? Like you made changes to the NIL, to the transfer portal, and then shortly thereafter, here comes NIL. And I feel like the biggest thing is, okay, with the transfer portal, it needs to be how it was before. You're granted
you mean
that
like the one transfer limit for free, like a freebie?
Boom. You get that freebie. You sit out a year.
You sit out a year.
You get that freebie, you sit out a year.
My thing with that transfer portal, man, they're gonna do it.
Actually, let's backtrack. You get that first one. That's the freebie.
First one you don't have to sit out. You don't have to sit out. You can go anywhere you want.
Anything after that, you sit out a year. Not only do you sit out a year, you can't collect NIL for that season that you're sitting out. You do that, and I feel like you will see a lot less transfers.
Yeah,
a lot less transfers.
And then I think they should only open the transfer portal one time a year, and that's after bowl season. After bowl season. After bowl season over, and then before spring practice, but after bowl season. Yeah. So around that. Yeah, around that winter holiday break after bowls have completely ended, New Year's 6, national championship, all that's been played.
or respectively, after all of your regular bowls have been played, not your playoff games. After your regular bowl season is before we get into the college football playoffs, okay, boom. That's when your transfer portal opens up. Because chances are the kids that are at these schools that are in the, I guess, top 12 now, chances are a lot of those kids are not going to transfer. Unless it's about NIL money.
Right. And then
or unless you get snubbed in the playoffs.
Hey.
Last year, the transfer portal it hurts kids maybe because when it's time to recruit a high school kid, these colleges be focused on a portal. So if you ask me, the portal should open up somewhere like February, March, like March to April. At least in that time frame, they'll know who they want, and then come now. If I'm a junior going into my, April, May, I know if they're gonna recruit me or not. But come on, the contract period opens up April 14th, and so does what? The transfer portal. So what that hurt the high school kids again. So portal need to open up during a time where it's a window where it's not hurt the kids. Just think about it, even with December, the early signing period is when the transfer portal kids also open up again. So that hurts the kids again. So it needs to be a window. I say like February like through April, where it does not hurt a high school kid. And then, speaking of the portal, I'm not against it, but the NCAA should put a cap on how many portal kids they can bring in, so these high school kids can go off to college. Because as of right now, college is now basically what I can say, basically what the semi-pro NFL. The numbers have been cut almost 50%. So for them days, you just slip a kid going to FCS schools and all that. It's over with now. It's over with. Like literally, the best kids are going to college now. So all these kids who was able to go to college back in the days and they were just good enough to get a degree, there's gonna be a lot of kids not going to college now because we got kids who have the mindset, if I'm not going to Division I, I'm not going to college. We still have kids like that.
That's right. That's right, man. And then most schools now, man, if you listen to the coaches talk, we only taking 5 or 6 high schoolers.
Those 4 or 5.
Yeah. And we only taking 5 or 6 kids from high school. The rest of we getting out of transfer portal.
I mean, to the coach, so if you're a coach, are you gonna feel more comfortable with an 18-year-old who coming in immature, or you gonna take a grown man who already know?
Already know the system, already know the setup of college, being a college athlete.
Not even made for a high school kid. Successful. And this is something else I tell kids. If my child's a 4 or 5 star, I'm not questioning if they're good enough, but how do you feel if your child's a 4 or 5 star and going to a place where it's a Power 5 school where if he doesn't play after his first year, the chances are he would never play again. Look at the Ohio State wide receiver room. Look at all those guys coming in.
Yes.
Chances are, if you're not an early enrollee to make an impact early as a freshman, if you don't get on the field by your sophomore year, you're an afterthought. Your time is done. So, I don't think parents think about that. So, I mean, a lot of these 4 or 5 stars need to start looking at places where they can actually get on that field and play. I mean, like I said, FIU is where I graduated from. Look at FIU wide receiver. Had a good year, and guess what? He's going to Notre Dame. He's at Notre Dame right now. So I feel like college is the new JUCO now. If you smoke, you'll go somewhere where you can play right away as a year or two, and then move up, not go right to the big dogs, because the big dogs are staying within the FBS and getting whoever, hits the portal. Like I said, you have a few kids who can play at the highest, but majority of these kids, they was good high school kids. We talking about a 23-year-old grown man at position, and your child's sometimes 17 years old. Like, his chances are very slim.
Yeah. And my brother coached basketball, man. And he tell all his boys, because he coached at the Rock in Gainesville, where school where Joel Embiid went to. And they have a national team. He's the coach on the national team. And they get kids from everywhere, man. Like I said, he had 4 or 5 kids playing in the NCAA tournament right now. That's going on right now that he coached. And he tell his boys, man, don't go off the name of the school.
Right.
Go off the best fit for you, where you're gonna be able to get on the court and show what you got. Don't just because they got a big name and they got a good name or they winning right now. Go to a school that's the best fit for you, not just because they got a big name or they win it. Go to a school that's the best fit for you, where you're gonna be able to actually get on the court and get some minutes.
You got to, man. You got to, and the reason being, like you guys know, I had a couple little cousins that have gone on in college football now, college sports, and they respect the sports in these past couple of years. But I told all of them the same thing when it came down to recruiting. You know, when it came down to what school did they want to go to, what school was looking at them, I told them all the same thing, man. Listen, you get 5 official visits. The schools that you really want to go to, take those official visits. If you got to take unofficial visits, that's cool too, because you want to see what life is like outside of being a student athlete. You want to see what life is like if you get there and you decide that, hey, man, you know, things didn't go my way, be it for health reasons, be it for, you know, you got there and you thought you loved the game and realized you don't love the game the way you thought it was. Now that it's a business, it's no longer fun. And we all know that, you know, anything that you enjoy, once it feels like work, you enjoy it a whole lot less. So I made it a thing to tell all of my little cousins or anybody who will listen, man, from the kids that we coach, when it comes time for recruitment and when it comes time for you to take your visits, go talk to academic advisors, talk to regular kids around campus, see what life is like on that campus without being a football player, without being a basketball player, without being an athlete. See what life is like on that campus to just be a regular student, because the sooner you can prepare for life after sports, you know, the further you are ahead of that curve. And the realization is everybody's not going to go D1.
Right.
For the ones that do go D1, we all know, okay, cool. Everybody's not going to go to that next level after that. Everybody's not going to the NBA. Everybody's not going to the NFL. So the sooner you can prepare for life after, you know, sports, the better off you'll be. You have to have a backup plan. That's not saying don't trust it, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. It's just the realization that, hey, listen, the longer you play this game, you're closer to playing your last down. You know what I'm saying? You're closer to playing your last down. You're closer to shooting your last shot. You're closer to throwing your last, you know, strike, hitting your last home run, hitting your last, you know, single, double, triple, whatever. You're closer to the end the longer you get to play this game. So it's just a matter of, you know, making these kids understand that the way that sports is fitted with NIL and with the transfer portal, and essentially being behind in recruitment if you're coming out of high school, you got to go to the school that ultimately suits you best.
And you know, one of the issues with majority of the kids out of high school, and like I said, you guys are coaches who coming out of high school, they're good. They're good football players, but a lot of those guys are the kids you have to take, go to class. I need you to work harder, you know, because they know that that's an area, you know, you're going to kiss their behind, right? Those are the kids when they get to college. Those are the ones who are going back home. The same ones who the mama wanted more than the child. When it comes to, oh yeah, baby, you know, this and this, those are the ones going back home. Like I remember coach told me that, hey, that kid was a professional before he was a professional. And that saying goes, those kids who go out there work out on their own, who do things on their own, who's never, like, you know, they're working out without posting them out here. Ones who go out and doing their own, those are the ones you know 9 times out of 10 is going to have a longer college career. The ones that you got to tell to go lift weight, go do your work, those going to be the ones who's going to peak out. Because I'm going to tell you why. The moment they red shirt, they never was great academic kids in the first place. So when they red shirt and they're not playing, what you think going to happen with their grades? They're going to plummet. When they're playing, what's going to happen? Their body language is going to change. And you know college coaches hate body languages when it comes to that. So this part that parents don't prepare, they don't prepare kids mentally. Let them know, hey, it's okay to red shirt, or it's okay when the coach yell at you. You don't have to cry and call back home to mama. A lot of the kids are built physically, but they're soft when it's coming to mentally. They're soft.
Yeah.
Problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Jared, so it hasn't become an issue yet in Florida, but you know, in neighboring states, they do allow NIL in high school. So, how would you think that would affect the Florida landscape if and when they approve NIL for Florida?
You know, Florida's all Wild West when it comes to transfers. So I can only imagine it's gonna get worse, man. And I hate to say it, but I hope this don't happen. You know, if private schools are they don't have an edge when it comes to recruiting. But then again, I say no because I don't want to say the names, but public schools gonna have some guys who gonna gather up some money too. So it's gonna. But at the end of the day, all this does is it's gonna kill the kid in the long term. It's gonna kill the kid.
Yeah.
So big headed, the parents are gonna be right where if you don't have no money, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's gonna be outside the lines a few years later.
Man, and I said, man, too, man. I was thinking, I say when they talking about doing, I was like, man, how we gonna coach a kid and that got a big NIL deal? Then we trying to tell him run some gas. Man, you don't make enough money to tell me to run. How you gonna tell me to run? I make more than you. I say, man, you know how kids is, man. They got and they know they man. Come on, man. It's gonna be
as long as that name has a positive image. As long as that name has a good image, they're gonna be a headache to coach, man. But you know, we've already seen it with one kid. I don't want to say his name, but we've already seen it with one kid where you know he made a lot of money in high school, chose to go to a prep school from the school he was at for other reasons. Then got into some legal trouble with some guns and whatnot, and it's like just that fast we almost saw that fall from grace, and it's just everybody needs a little bit of humbling, and I'm glad to see he's doing a lot better. But man, hey man, it's money doesn't change people. I'm sure y'all have all heard this same saying. Money doesn't change people. It just shows you who you've always been.
Correct.
It shows you a person's true character. Like money don't change people. It shows you a person's true character. So a lot of these people, this is how they act with money. This is why they don't have money. This is what you get when you feel like you're above the law. When you feel like that's all it is. This is what you have. But yeah, man, this NIL thing, it doesn't need to hit high school. I feel like they should start if it does hit high school, once again, the same way NIL needs limits in college, it needs limits in high school. Because everybody's not valued at the same thing. Everybody's not going to get paid. But for the athletes that are going to get compensated and compensated well, it needs to be one of those situations where, okay, you've got this NIL, but you can't receive this NIL until your senior year after that season is passed, or your senior year throughout that football season, or whatever the case may be. But it needs to be some sort of limit on it so that this isn't a problem that you have to deal with for a long time. You give a kid money and you give them that free will and money, and now everything's at their disposal, the faster you're putting their hand to the fire.
Okay, so let's go a step deeper. You said when the kids get NIL money, they're basically going to become divas, right? Uncoachable. All right. Did you guys think about this? How about now the sports agencies? They're going to be a hold of those kids early as high school now.
Right.
I want you to think about that now. So now, as a high school coach, you really have no leverage. A lot of those agents now are going to be feeders to certain high schools because you can't afford to pay that.
Mm-hmm.
So thought about that part. If I'm a representative, or it doesn't have to be an agency, I'm somebody with money, I can now create a feeder system for certain high schools if I wanted to because I have the money now. See, I don't think they didn't think about it. Everyone would not get NIL deals, but if I can basically say, here, come with me and I give you $2,000 to that kid, he can go on social media and brag, I got an NIL deal, but you got to play for this school. Did anybody ever think about that part?
Right.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you're right.
So shout out. I see you, Javon Pride, Shaking Bait, Shannon Baker, Marion Battles. But Jerry, so I'm gonna give you some rapid fire questions here. Just oh, can you hear me, Jerry? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, I lost you for a second. So I'm gonna give you some a few rapid fire questions, man. You just answer them to the best of your ability. We'll have a little fun with this. So, what's the best South Florida prospect you ever seen?
Oh man,
come on now, give me one.
Offense, defense, or overall?
We can go offense, defense, and overall. Give me 3 of them then.
All right. I'm 37, so I'm gonna go with my age. So
Okay.
Frank Gore.
Woo!
Frank Gore.
boy.
Yes,
I
sir.
see you.
It was Frank Gore. I say 1. Number 2. This tough right here, man. It's so many.
So many.
So many. All right, you know what? Okay, I go with Duke Johnson.
Oh man, we remember in the state championship game. What was that? 2012, I believe. That was Duke Johnson senior year where he came down. Well, they played Wakulla, which Wakulla is from about 30 minutes from Tallahassee, where we're at right now.
My kids go to the school in Wakulla, so that's
Wakulla. And Duke Johnson, just my God.
And then look, coach, I'm gonna be. It's so many more. The reason why I picked those 2 guys is because they didn't really have no wide receivers where you knew you had to double. You knew they was running the ball.
Yeah,
and you still couldn't stop them.
Yeah,
that was amazing. You knew they was running the ball, and you still couldn't stop those guys. So those like the 2 guys. The third one, I mean, it can be tough, man. It's a lot. I rode those 2 because of the circumstances.
Right. So what about you? Now this is just most recent. Let's say in the last 2-3 years. Oh, not even the last 2-3 years. But who was the most NFL ready player that you've seen that you saw and be like, and from his play, just be like, man, he could play in the NFL right now?
The last 3 years. What? I got so many names going through my head right now.
Well, it's South Florida, boy. They just got so many doggone bitty.
Yes, man. Out of respect, I don't even want to answer. There's so many kids from me.
Okay, we can respect that. I'm gonna say I always felt like Jeremiah Smith from me.
Oh, you said body wise type? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Body wise, the speed, yeah.
But then I also go. I like Amari Cooper, and what's my next guy? Probably them 2 was probably the most, I would say, the most NFL ready guys coming out. Now, as far as best linebackers for me out of South Florida, my favorite was Sean Spence out of Miami Northwestern, and Willie Williams. Even though he didn't pan out in college, but Willie Williams was probably my 2 favorite guys.
Man, you gonna say Torian Charles, man?
Who's that?
The line. You got.
Year the Bull.
Oh, Year the Bull.
Torian Charles, man.
When we say linebackers, I like
speaking of
who's that?
That back is 9. I'll say Sean Spencer, that last wave of old age linebackers, but like people like Nate Webster, Lamont Green, guys literally took over games, man. And like I said, I'm 37, so I'm sorry if I ain't going too far back, guys.
Oh, I'm 34. I'm right on you.
Okay.
I'm the baby of the bunch, so you good, man. I'm 32.
But
hold on, random question, because Lance just brought it up. Torian Charles, could you imagine him with NIL money in high school? Could you imagine a lot of those with NIL money in high school? Like, okay, another one, random. Could you imagine Ja'Cory Harris with NIL money in high school?
Ja'Cory, man, he was
my boy.
I think he still has the state record for passing touchdowns in the season, I believe.
Yeah,
not in the season, but in the career.
Salmon-colored suit to the Heisman dinner.
Ja'Cory was NIL. He would have cashed in.
What about the best team in the last? Let's go 10 years.
Best team. You know what? That Northwestern team, man, was Ja'Cory Harris. You
talking about 2008?
And I didn't even know you could championship team. I mean, the state championship game, they mercy ruled the team. Running clock.
Yeah. That was with Sean Spence, Ja'Cory Harris, Marcus Fortson, Aldarius Johnson, Ramon Buchanan.
Yeah, Tommy Streeter.
Lewis.
Yeah.
Ryan Lewis, Reggie Sanders.
Listen, Tommy Streeter and they had a Johnson, but people forget about Tompkins. at the slot.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Kendall Tompkins.
That boy was nice. So
He was
Hey,
nice.
but them Lakeland
I
teams
know.
with Chris Rain in them was stuff too.
Hold on. What about the Northwest team from, I want to say, 2018? Was it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot about them.
Ooh, what they did in the state championship.
But what about that Miami Central
Bro,
team from last year? Now not this past year, but the year before this, that won the national championship.
Man, listen, that 2018 Miami Northwestern team in the state championship, I don't think the opponent got the ball past their own 30-yard line. No exaggeration. None. Like, go watch the film.
You talk about you got to talk about the Joe Yerby and Dalvin Cook era.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Central. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's like the standard when it comes to that group right.
Cook,
Miami
man. Cook was
been blessed.
a beast, man.
So why do you think there's this mantra out there about South Florida quarterbacks? Why do you think South Florida quarterbacks get a bad name in as far as the next level in college?
I mean, because to be honest with you, Dade County, they don't pay no money to these coaches down. So, when it comes to quarterback coaching, our kids have to go to Bozeman and someone else to get great coaches. Thank God for Bozeman jumping on the scene because he's changing the narrative about quarterbacks in South Florida. But before then, it was more so great athlete at quarterback. You threw a bomb, you threw a out route, or you run around until somebody get open, throw the ball. Like that was the quarterback South Florida breeding back then. That's just how it was, unfortunately. Because with the speed, you couldn't have a pocket passer at quarterback and win in South Florida. You had to be able to run around and make plays because the speed is it.
But then there were some people say that once you. What'd you say, Griff?
No, I was saying I think people actually take the athleticism of the other kids for South Florida, for granted when they're talking about quarterback play, poor quarterback play. Because that's one thing that you don't really have to worry about, man, in a lot of other states. A lot of other states, these kids aren't peaking until high school as far as athletically. Whereas Florida, more specifically Central and South Florida, definitely South Florida, you see it in a lot of these kids at 10, 11, 12 years old that, okay, when this kid gets to high school, he's going to be a freak.
I mean, but
it's freakish size early. Some of them have freakish speed early. Some of them have a combination of freakish size and speed early. And it's just man.
A large part of that because of the competitive nature. In South Florida, you say Central Florida, as early as youth football, it doesn't matter who the best kid is come game day, getting called out. Like they going how hard is that? Now in the other states, if you the man, everyone bows down to you. Not in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna show me you good. It doesn't matter if you got stars or not. Because how many times you done been to a Florida game, the 3-star, and there's no name killed them. That's what makes South Florida competitive. Like you stay on your toes, or if you think you're the best, you're gonna find out. And there's always somebody coming out of nowhere. That's what I love about state of Florida football. It's gonna keep you sharp because if you stay, you got to prove it every time.
Well, Jerry, man, we're not gonna hold you, man. We appreciate you so much, but Lance, Sean, y'all got any last things for Jerry Williamson before we let him go?
Man, I'll keep doing for these kids, man.
Oh yeah, before I go, man.
Yes, sir.
Is about we're talking about NIL. It's important we start teaching these kids about financial literacy. A lot of these kids don't even realize that they need to start tax-free portfolios. So when they get this NIL money, they don't even realize these kids are not even paying for their taxes. So that's something else. And these kids going to roll a trouble on the back end, when it catches up with them. So, while we speak NIL, just make sure whenever y'all speak about it, make sure you have those kids take financial literacy classes and explain to them that those taxes have to get paid on that money or they're going to be in a world of trouble.
We're in a world of trouble. You're absolutely right about that, Jerry. But do you think that now that you said that, do you think that it needs to be more onus on the schools having more financial literacy courses in their curriculum?
I agree. Yes, it should be, but unfortunately, this has always been my method. If we teach kids 4,500, businessman at an early age, business is going to be around. So schools are meant to teach you just enough, not make you smarter than everybody else.
You're
So
absolutely right.
you got to go outside of school and go to the right people. Why you think when kids leave weight training, they go to where? A personal trainer.
Right.
When they leave from with quarterback drill, they go to where? A personal quarterback. So, school is only going to teach you enough. And, how I feel about school, they teach what you want to know anyway, because you don't really learn real history, without African American. They teach you what you want, what they want you to know. So, but yeah, when it comes to that information, you have to go outside, and the parents have to be in the same way they invest in taking these kids to these camps and buying these $1,500 shoes. They need to have that same interest with, teaching them what needs to be done at the next level overall.
Yes, sir. I love it. Well, Jerry Williamson, we so much appreciate you. Much love and much success with you at Rise Preparatory Academy. Maybe one of these days we're gonna have to drive down and make a trip down there, man. Let you tour the beautiful campus, man. Let us look around and stuff and see what you got going on.
Hey, well, this is the thing what people don't really realize. The school is actually online. The physical location is actually my office, nothing but 1,300 square feet. But looking outside,
oh, no kidding. Okay.
Everyone think that, but I like that. Looking outside in, I do well. People think I'm sitting on acres. So,
hey, man, I'm gonna call you up, man. My son, 6th grade, man. He'll be on that football, and I'm gonna call you up, man. Hey, if I need some help, man, I give you a call, man.
No problem. Hey, if you ever need me to break down like a segment of academics in general, just call me up and I can help. Whoever want to help, I can give you guys help with no problem.
Okay.
We appreciate that, Jerry, man.
You're welcome, man. All right.
Hey, you have a good night. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jerry Williamson. Gave you just a bunch of golden nuggets on the recruiting game, on the education game. What y'all feel about it, guys?
Man, very knowledgeable guy, man. Very knowledgeable guy, man. Definitely. And you could tell that you could tell that he's really out to help the kids, man.
He really is.
Yeah. So I like that about him, man.
So for the ones watching out there, that is Jerry's Rising All-Stars. That's the Instagram page. Jerry Rising All-Stars. Go to the Instagram page. Follow his Instagram page. He shows you everything that's going on with South Florida recruiting as far as his kids at Rise Preparatory Academy. Make sure y'all go over that page and check them out. But guys, it's getting kind of late, man. So I think we are good to go ahead and close this thing out. Oh, tomorrow we got Maryland defensive back Perry Fisher.
Yeah,
coming to the show. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a good one.
Tomorrow, I'm gonna peel back layers that a lot of people don't know about Perry, but I'm gonna let y'all wait for that one.
Yes, sir. We got Perry Fisher coming to the show tomorrow, and then on Sunday we got a special Victory Road episode, Sunday conversation with Leon Washington Jr. Make sure y'all stay tuned for that. That's going to be another big one. Hey, listen, we just getting started. We still got 2 more big episodes for y'all for the end of the week. We just getting started, baby. But anyway, from all the folks here at The Run, Justin Ralston handling the producing with the 1s and 2s on the tech. We got Lance Rochelle over there. We got Sean Griffin. I'm Mason Kilby. This is The Run. We are done.
Remember,
hold up, Lance. Go ahead and send us out on a good note.
Remember, what God got for you, can't nobody take from you.
What God got for you, can't nobody take for you. This is The Run. We out of here.